Good morning, guys. So, in our last session, we have discussed how to create our AWS account and what are the support plans we have. So, understanding support plans is very, very important. So, as I mentioned, we have total four support plans and we have total three types of supports. The first one is accounting and billing related queries. So if you are facing any issue related to account activation or service is not able to use or unnecessary bill or you don't want to pay the bill. So in all those cases, so you can raise a ticket here and we have a soft limit for every service. So if you want to increase, you can choose this soft limit increase and technical support. If you are trying to launch a server and you are not able to get connected to something or you are facing issue while trying to access something, so you can pick this technical support, right? So when coming to support plan, basic support plan, so for all support plans this first and second is free. When coming to this third one, based on the support plan we will get assistance. So no technical assistance for basic support plan. So from where we can, from AWS documentation, support forum, developer forums, knowledge base articles, we can get support. So no need to pay anything. It comes under free. The price actually it's a free. Okay. So as you're not paying anything, they don't provide any technical assistance. But when coming to developer support plan, so here 12 to 24 local business hours, email support from cloud support associate. So we are going to get trusted advisor checks, but only 7 core areas checks. One primary contact can raise tickets and we can raise unlimited tickets. And while raising a ticket, if you are selecting the severity as a general guidelines, less than 24 hours. If you are selecting severity as a system impaired, less than 12 hours, your issue is going to be take up, not resolution. One of the AWS will contact you within 12 hours or within 24 hours. And business support plan. When coming to business support plan, first and second is free. So when coming to technical support, 24 by 7 phone, email and chat support. But here we are going to get only email support. Right, and we are going to get full trusted advisor checks and any user can raise a ticket and we are going to get least take up time as a production system down. If you choose less than 1 hour, one engineer is going to contact you. Production system impaired less than 4 hours. Enterprise support plan. So here we need to pay $15,000 per month and we are going to get a dedicated technical account manager, annual reviews, annual operational reviews and architectural reviews and account assistance. We are going to get, this is important. This is dedicated we will get from this enterprise, this TAM and this annual operational reviews. Both we will get from only enterprise support plan. And if it is a business critical system down less than 15 minutes, multiple engineers will contact and they will work on our issues at a time. And trusted advisor, it just like gave some advisors. It's just like your neighbor. They will give only advices, but they won't fix anything. So this trusted advisor will give advisors to save cost, improve security, improve fault tolerance, high availability, and all. So you choose only basic support plan. And I asked you to create an AWS account. I'm not sure whether you created it or not, but so please create it as soon as possible and start practicing. Why? Because today we are going to log into our AWS account and we are going to perform some basic operations. Okay, so please go through that. Right. So I'm going to log into my AWS account. So give aws.com. So then here sign into the console option is there. Click on sign into the console. And I recently logged in by using this, so directly it's picking that. Otherwise, click on sign into different account. So here it is going to ask us, okay, do you want to log in as a root user? That means as an account owner, and that is going to contain unrestricted access. You want to log in as an IAM user, then you can pick that. So we don't know what exactly IAM, but we have used an email to create this account. So I'm using that email to log in. Then click on next. Here is a password. Make sure you give a strong and secured password. Right, additional layer of security. So enable MFA on our root account. Enable MFA root account is like, always important. So even Amazon always recommend you to enable multi-factor authentication. So just giving username and password is not sufficient to log into AWS account whenever you enable this multi-factor authentication. Okay, so we have multiple options. We can use like a software MFA. We can use hardware MFA, or we can use UB2 key, Y2K key, or UB2 key. So the software MFA, we can use our smartphones by installing applications like Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator or Authy two-factor authenticator. That's not that much widely used one, but I hope everybody know what is Google Authenticator and Microsoft Authenticator. When coming to hardware MFA device, so it's a physical device. You need to purchase this device first. When you got the device, then you can activate MFA. UB2 key, it's a USB type of device. So when we connect this to laptop or desktop, then only it allows to connect. See, in this first scenario and second scenario, we are going to get a 6-digit PIN number whenever you gave username and password. And next step, it will ask you, 6-digit PIN number. So even if this device is not with you, you can call them, and if they tell you that ID, so then you can log in. That 6-digit PIN number. For example, I gave my username and password. So you went to like we both on phone call and you entered username and password. It is asking for the PIN number. I can open this application and I can tell you that PIN number. But this one, it's not like that. So if I want to log in, I need to have that pen drive type of device with me. Okay, from what laptop I want to log in, I need to connect. So only who can have the device, they can connect. So giving username and password, telling that key is not sufficient to log in. So it is a bit more advanced secured option, right? So now let's see how to enable. So why to enable this multi-factor authentication? Why? Because this is a root user. It is going to contain unrestricted access. That means, for example, multiple users are there. So they spend a lot of time to configure multiple things. So one user, he really don't know, but he have root credentials. So simply he navigated to this account and my account page. So whenever we go to my account page, whenever we scroll down to the bottom, here I am scrolling down to the bottom. See here, close account option is there. So simply selecting these check boxes and clicking close account, gone, your account is. How many hours you spend to create this AWS account, how many hours you spend to configure all your servers, whatever the data you have, all gone. So if it is a production account and you have 5 applications and account got closed, so very huge issue, right? So many clients are going to sue your organization. So not to not get into such type of issues. So we always enable multi-factor authentication. So here my account, and that's why we have a concept called IAM users. We don't share these root credentials with anyone. We go with the IAM. So to activate MFA, click on this username. This is the account name. While creating, I have given my account name as Avinash Reddy, so that's why it's showing here. So select my security credentials. I'm selecting my security credentials. So then the first option is password. If you want to change the password, name or email address of your root account, click here. Whenever you click here, it will sometimes it might ask you to enter password again. Otherwise, you want to change the account name, account email ID or account password. You can change it. The second option is MFA, multi-factor authentication. So click on activate MFA. So as I told you, we have virtual MFA or software MFA, hardware MFA, U2F key, UB2 key. So selecting virtual MFA. But before this, selecting virtual MFA itself, download and install Google Authenticator. See, this Google Authenticator works with the many of the applications. For example, for your Facebook, you are looking for additional layer security. For your Gmail also. So if someone easily guess your username and password, so it should not allow you to log in. So additional layer you can. So this is how exactly this application looks like. So go to App Store or Play Store, look for Google Authenticator. So then select this virtual MFA device. If you already purchase a hardware device, select this, click on continue. What is the serial number of the device? And whenever you turn on the device, it is going to give a 6-digit PIN number. So enter two consecutively generated 6-digit PIN number. That means it should not skip any in between. It should give two consecutively generated ones. So go here, enter MFA and assign MFA. So again, where to purchase and all, click on this AWS multi-factor authentication. It shows multiple type of devices. See, this is U2F key. This is hardware device. This is another hardware device. So based on the price, you will, so this is like, $14 one. Okay, so it gave 6-digit PIN number like this and it contains a serial number. See, this serial number need to be entered and this consecutively generates 6-digit PIN number. When you click on this button, no, new PIN is going to generate. So those two you need to enter. So that is one device. This is like, bit advanced, like a smart card type of device. And this is UB2 key. So it must be connected, Ubico. It must be connected to the device, then only it allowed. Right. So different type of device. Even you can connect it to your phones also. Okay. So in our case, we are good to go with the virtual MFA device. So I'm selecting virtual MFA device. Click on continue. So now it is showing a QR code. So open that application. See, I already have the Google Authenticator in my mobile, guys. I already have that Google Authenticator and I'm going to scan this QR code. So if your camera is not working, still you do have an option. Click on show secret key and you need to enter all this key within this application. So when you click on this, it gets started. It will ask you two options. Scan a QR code, enter a setup key. So click on scan QR code. So now click on show QR code and I have scanned this QR code. Now I got 6-digit PIN number here within my mobile application. And I need to give two consecutively generated ones. This is a first code and wait till this existing code expires. For every 30 seconds it expires. And my existing code got expired and I got a new code now. So we should not skip any between. So I have given the new code, the generated now, then click on assign MFA. All right, here you can see this virtual MFA has been successfully activated. So then click on close. Now, let me sign out and sign in back to my AWS account. Let's see what happens. So I'm clicking on log back in. So here is my email, my password. Then it is asking me to enter the authentication code. So if even you know my email ID, if you easily guess the password, so that is not sufficient to log into my AWS account. You must get access to my phone, and that 6-digit PIN number also you must know. Then only it allow you to. Right. So sometimes, so you accidentally might uninstall that application, or you lost your phone, or you might like a broken screen or erratic display. Like in all the cases, we have an option here. Having problems with your authentication device, click here. So then we have an option. So see, you haven't uninstalled and all, but you are facing issue. Simply you can resynchronize. Give two consecutively generated PIN number, resync. Synchronization issues will solve. If you want to sign in using alternative factors, like by using what email ID you have used, what phone number and all, you want to send a verification email, phone number verification, then it allow you to sign in. If you lost that, you can use this method by using email ID and phone number. You can log in. If you accidentally uninstall that, or you don't have access and all, you can contact the customer support also. Click on contact us and fill up these details, like what is the issue you are facing. So then what is the account root user email address? So what email ID you have used to create this account? 12-digit account ID is not mandatory, it's an optional. Full name, phone number associated with this account, and when you click on this submit, immediately you will get a call from AWS and they will help you to fix the issue. Okay, so they will send a code to your email ID. When you mention that code with them, they will temporarily deactivate MFA. I've logged into my AWS account. So this is the first step we always perform. So it gives additional layer of security. Why? Because root account always have unrestricted access on our AWS account or environment. Right? Any questions on this, guys? So we cannot activate multiple MFAs at a time. Only one MFA at a time. If you want to remove, again you can go to the security credentials, navigate to multi-factor authentication, click on manage. You can either remove or resynchronize.
Avinash, one small question from my side. So is there any possibility to get the dropped items, resources, or something like that? Similar to recycle bin in our Windows system, is there any possibility to recycle the items which we dropped by accidentally?
Okay, so that depends on the service we are using. But we really don't have like such type of options for all the services. But we can restrict that IAM user to like not to perform and all. We have some options like accidental protection, termination protection, deletion protection options we have. Such type of options we can enable. For example, you have a server, and whenever you enable termination protection, if you go here, if you are trying to delete and all, it won't allow. So that option we have. But if it is already deleted, no, we can't get it back. For services like a S3 we have. For data we have, for servers we don't have.
Okay.
That we will talk based on the service actually.
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
I have a question on MFA, Vinash. Why do we use third party like Google Authenticator and Microsoft Authenticator? Don't we have any AWS Authenticator?
They don't have actually. They don't have their own authenticator, so it supports many authenticator or third-party applications.
Oh, thank you.
What is the difference between the hardware token and UBTOK?
Hardware, for example, that's a device, it continuously generates. So You gave your username and password to me, and we both are in call, and I am trying to log into that account, and whenever it is asking for the PIN, as we both are in the call, I asked you to share that PIN number, and you shared that 6-digit PIN number, and I can successfully log in. So the main intention is like you need to log in, but you gave username and password and you share the PIN, and I've logged in here. So, but when coming to this UB2 key, whoever have the device, so the key is with you, I'm somewhere else in remote location. So can I log in? So for example, let's take USA. Many guys will take remote support and all, right? So if your organization gave that UB2 key, so here I can sit and I can log into your AWS account if you share that PIN. But can you share that like UB2 key every day? Bit difficult, right? So that is bit more secure, nothing more than that.
Okay. So in both condition, we need to purchase the one hardware, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it is
That organization is going to take care.
UB2 key, but it is work on the without physical connections. It just require the authentication code.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So that organization is going to take care. Here we are good with the virtual MFA or software MFA. All right. So now let's try to understand the difference between root user and IAM user.
Avinash, one question.
Yes, please.
Can we set up a MFA for a IAM user also?
Who is IAM? What is
Uh,
IAM? What does IAM stands for? In what scenario we are going to? So let me discuss about IAM. Then we will. I'll take your question.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, we can. Of course, we can. And I'm going to talk about that one. So yeah, right. So when coming to this root user and IAM user, so root user, as I mentioned, we are going to have only one email ID associated with our one AWS account. So whenever you're logging with that email, we call it as a root user. And it is going to contain unrestricted access on our AWS account. For example, some privileges like, closing AWS account or changing the support plan. For example, who can change the support plan? Only root user can change the support plan. Or by defaultly, only root user can manage the billing access. Of course, we can edit this. That's why I'm mentioning by defaultly. So we can even give permission for an IAM user also, but by default, only this user can manage. And account management related things like, only root user can perform. And he can create anything, he can delete anything. For example, when IAM user created something, he can delete it without any issues. Okay. So root user will always have highest priority or highest privileged access on our AWS account, and one user for one AWS account. Now, let's take a scenario where total 3 members are there in a team. So one user is dedicatedly working on a service called S3. So S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. This is a place where we can store data. We can create a bucket and we can store the data. Another service called EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay, so I have total 3 users. One guy, he need to work only on S3. I don't want him to work on different services and all. Another guy, I have recruited him to work only on EC2. I don't want him to work on any other services. So one more guy is there. Let's take he's a TL, team lead, and he need admin access on all the services. See, not related to account management, but he need admin access. So he need complete access on all the services, full access on all the services. So this guy is a S3 user, this guy is a EC2 user, and this guy is a TL, and he need admin access, full access. Now, if we give this root username and password to this user, You share root username and password to all this user. So this TL is bit responsible guy. So he have some decent experience and all. So he know what exactly he's doing is like, he's working responsibly. This EC2 user also, okay, he's good. But this S3 user is very curious guy. He's not just limited to S3. So unnecessarily he's going to EC2, he's trying to launch a server and he's going and he's deleting some other resources which is created by another users and all. Now, are we restricting these users anywhere? Absolutely not. You are sharing root credentials to all these three users. Whenever you are sharing root credentials, that means you are giving unrestricted access here. You are giving unrestricted access for these users also. So in that case, that is not at all suggestible thing. So what we can do, create an IAM user for this, create another IAM user for this user, create another IAM user for this, and IT manager, he is going to have this root credentials. See, in my total 7 years career, I never got chance to log in as a root user for production environments. For non-prod and all, yeah, sometimes we will get that for renaming account and all. So, but I never got any chance to log in as a root user for production environments. They really don't share that. The client won't share you root credentials at any cost. You always get an IAM user only. Okay, so how we are going to restrict? So create an IAM user, and while creating, we have an option called policy. So policy is nothing but a document that contains set of permissions on our AWS environment. So while creating, associate a policy. We have again three types of policy: AWS managed policy, AWS managed job function policy, and customer managed policy. We will go in detail about this in our tomorrow session. So today we are going to have an introduction to this policy only. So we have a set of permissions on all the services. So we have a policy that is S3 read only access, S3 full access. So when coming to EC2 read only access we have, EC2 full access we have. Of course, we have a number of related also. Then when coming to administrator access, we have administrator policy we have, and we have power user policy we have, right? So based on our requirement, we need to choose among that policies, then we need to associate. So for this S3 user, okay, allocate S3 full access policy. Whenever you associate S3 full access, okay, when this user logs in, again, how he logged? He is going to get a dedicated username and password, and a sign-in URL. And we are going to get a sign-in URL, username, password, sign-in URL. Then he can log in. See, this sign-in URL is going to same for all IAM users. So this sign-in URL generated for account level. Okay, so for this EC2 user, what level of permission? Okay, we have a policy called EC2 full access. Okay, associate that EC2 full access policy. Then here also we are going to get a username, password, and sign-in link. So share this information with this user, and same way add administrator access policy, share this. So all the users are logging to same AWS account. Why? Because sign-in URL is same. So we can log in and we can. So these policies are written in JSON format. Of course, we have a policy generator. We have policy generator to generate our own policies. That is our tomorrow session, right? So now, while creating an IAM user, what are the steps we have? First thing, username. So it depends on organization. I'll give a question and answers window, guys. First thing, the username. It depends on the organization. For example, in my previous project, we follow the standard. First letter of the name, then surname. So it depends on your organization. Here you can create your own username and password. So then we have an access type. Mainly we have two access types. One is AWS Management Console access. Second one is programmatic access. So this management console access we will discuss now. Programmatic access, we have a dedicated session in our EC2. So this is nothing but a GUI. Technically, this is a GUI. This is a CLI. So whenever you are selecting GUI, you are going to get a username. You are going to get a password. And you are going to get a sign-in URL. Okay. Whenever you are selecting programmatic access, we will get access key ID and secret access key. So in what scenario we are going to use this? So whenever you want to work on browser, you want to log in as this user by using a browser and all, then you can use this AWS Management Console access. And if you want to log in programmatically, programmatic access by using AWS CLI, if you want to perform any API calls, if you want to perform any CDK Cloud Development Kit operations, or if you want to integrate your AWS with third-party applications, then we are going to use this programmatic access. So don't worry about this programmatic access at the moment. We have a dedicated session on that. Whenever we select AWS Management Console, so it will ask for the password. Okay, do you want to go with the system generated password or you want to set up a password? And it will ask us, do you want to enforce user to create a new password when login for the first time? Then after selecting these two options, then we need to allocate permissions. So permissions window will come. So there again we have three options. One is create a group, add permissions at group level, add this user to group. So this is one option. Another option is copy settings from another IAM user. This is second option. Third option is attach policy directly to the IAM user. Attach policy directly to that IAM user. So this based on requirement. See, if he is a first user, you can go and do that. And multiple users required same level of permission, you can create a group. For example, multiple S3 admins are there. 4 or 5 S3 admins are there. So in that case, create a group, S3 admins group, add a policy, the same policy, whatever the one we are trying to associate here, same policy associate group level, then add this user to the group. So permissions will be managed at group level. And copy settings from another IAM user. So one new user came and he needs similar permission to an existing user, then pick this and attach policy directly to the user. This is also possible. So then in next step, add tags. That is not that much important. It's an optional one. Then final step, review and create. So now let's jump in and let's understand these options. Okay. So I'm in my AWS Management Console. Here under security, identity and compliance, we have an option called IAM. So click on IAM. Otherwise, go here, search for IAM. You can. Otherwise, go to services and here under security, you can find this IAM, right? So click on, next to this, we have a star symbol. Click on that star symbol. So then you will get it as a favorite. Where is that? Yeah, here it is. Click on the star symbol. We have under this favorite. So go here, click on IAM. Anything is okay. Go here, click on IAM, or else go to service, click on IAM, or search and select that. So now here we logged into this IAM console. I already have couple of users. For different purpose, I created this user. So let me delete this user. I don't require. So now I need this user. I'm using this user for different purpose. So now I want to create a new IAM user. So in your case, it's going to be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? And now I want to create an IAM user. So navigate to users. I don't require these groups also. Okay. So here is a users option. Navigate to users. So click on add user. What is a username? Whenever you are creating a IAM user, it will ask a username. So what is the username you want to give? I want to call this, I'm giving some standard one. S3 user is a username I'm giving for the first user. That's what I mentioned. So my first user is the S3 user. Okay. So now access type. As I mentioned, we have total 2 access types. So the first one is programmatic access, second one is management. So whenever we select this, we can use this with the AWS API, CLI, SDK and all. So that we will discuss later, as I mentioned. So if you recall our course content, I hope I already shared that course content with you guys. I given that link. If not, I will share today. So here in our EC2 module, we will discuss about the CLI. We have a dedicated session for CLI and roles. Here we have a dedicated session on that. We will talk there. So at moment, ignore this. AWS Management Console Access. When I select this option, see automatically it is giving what is a console password. So now we are creating a user. For this user, are you okay to go with the auto generate password? AWS is going to generate one password and it will give that here. And you want to go with a custom password, you can set up a custom password here. For example, I want to give 1 2 3 4 5 6, and we have some limitations, must contain like some like lowercase letter, uppercase letter and all. Go with auto generate one. Required password reset. So that means whenever this user is logging for the first time or next time, he need to reset his password. And I'm going with management console option and I'm going with auto generate password and required password reset. I'm selecting all the 3 options here. Auto generated, required password reset. Then click on next. Here, first option, add user to group. So first of all, create a group. Then add this user to a group. So do we have any groups now? So we don't have any groups now. So for example, as I mentioned, multiple IAM users are there. So in that case, create a group. So what is the group name you want to give? Okay, S3 users group. Now for this group, what level of policy you want to associate? 698 policies available. In your case, it might be different. You might have like a 640, 650 policies. You will get 650 policies here. So here, whatever the service you're looking, for example, I'm trying to find all the S3 related. So S3 full access, S3 outpost, S3 read only access, data migration service, DMS service, like, for some policies, we don't have the AWS logo. That is a customer managed. I created for my own requirement. Okay. So which one you want to select this, click on create a group. So now what is happening? A group is creating. We are adding this user to that group. So permissions comes from the group level, not from the user level. Okay, that is the first option. Second option, copy permission from an existing user, but he's our first user. So this won't work in your case, but I already have an IAM user. If I need similar permissions, I can select this. Say this user have like administrator access and another permission here. So in similarly, if you need some permission, go here, select that user. Okay. Third option, attach existing policies directly. So 650 policies available here. Which policy you want to associate at user level, then you can add that here. For example, for this user, I want to add at user level only. So I'm giving Amazon S3 full access. Then click on next. Of course, you can select multiple also. Let's go with one by one. This is our first session on, right? So tags, for what purpose you are creating, for what project you are using. For example, you want to give for what project you are using. So this user is created for project X. Who created this? Avinash created this. When created this, such type of all tagging, we can give it here. Then click on review. This is a review screen. Don't worry about this. This is our tomorrow's topic. So console passport, I'm going with auto generated. AWS management console access with a passport. Passport is auto generated. Required passport reset is yes. So then what type of policies we are giving? Amazon S3 full access we are giving. So then click on create user. Now one IAM user got created. So for this user, how he need to log in? Here we got the sign in link. This is a sign in link. Okay, so here is a passport. The username is S3 user. Here is a passport. When you click on show, it shows the passport. So you can just copy this into your local machine and S3 user, or else you can download all these things to your local machine. Click on download.csv. It got downloaded to your local machine, the same thing. So now the first user got created. Okay, now I want to log in as that user. I want to log in as that user. So in that case, what sign in URL I need to use? So if you want to log in as the IAM user, you need to use this link. Otherwise, go to Google whenever you are giving aws.com, right? So it is giving an option, root user or IAM user. So go to my account, AWS Management Console. So one browser for one IAM user only. The session will stick to that browser. Here is a root user. Here is a IAM user. I am selecting IAM user. When we are selecting an IAM user, it is asking, okay, what is your 12-digit AWS account ID? Or you can give account alias. So instead of that, what you can do, you can pick this entire URL, give that within the browser. So this is a 12-digit AWS account ID of our AWS account, and it picks that account ID automatically with the URL we have given. Then we need to enter the password, username and password with this URL. Okay, so this URL will giving us 12-digit account ID. But remembering numbers is always difficult thing, right? But we do have an option. We can set up an alias. Here is a alias. So this is a URL we are using now. Okay, instead of this 12-digit account ID, remembering it, so we can customize this. So we can give a simple name here. So it's easy to remember. So we need to give the 12-digit account ID here. This is a 12-digit account ID. So then when you click on next, so it will ask you to enter the username and password. Username and password. This we always need to remember. But instead of this number, for example, if you are giving something Avinash 1 or Avinash 2, that is easy to remember, right? So for that, here is a sign in URL. Click on customize. What name you want to give? It should not contain any uppercase letter and all. So give Avinash. Click on create alias, and someone already taken that. So what you can do, give a unique one. So I'm giving away space, then click on create. So no one taken that. So alias got created. IAM users in this account can now sign in with the new URL as well. So both works for us. You no need to go with the only one. So you can use either of the one. Okay. So you can use either of this or you can use either of this. Both technically pointing to my AWS account only. This one is a alias for this account ID. So you can simply remember this. So whenever you want to log in, so now here, okay, this way one, what is a username? S3 user is a username. What is a password? It's an auto-generated password. Go here, pick that password, give that here. Then click on sign in. Now, while creating user, we have selected an option, enforce password, required password reset, enforce password change. So when he log in for the first time, he need to give his old password and he need to enter the new password. For example, I'm giving just ASDF and ASDF. Then click on confirm password change. See, it is giving an error. Either he don't have permission to change the password or it is not comply with the password policy set by administrator. So the thing is, so Amazon need to implement something. Whenever this guy is like, entering password, right, it should comply, it should mention whether it comply with the password policy or not, but that is not yet implemented. So here is a new password. So that must comply with the password policy. We don't know what is password policy. I'll show you where we can find that. Then click on confirm password change. Now, come on. This is the existing password. I'm giving the old password. Right, seems I haven't added any policy. I think I mistakenly didn't selected anything. So let me create a user quickly. Instead of confusing you guys, I can allocate in a couple of steps, but let me create a user. Add user, S3 user 1, and I'm selecting management console access. Auto generate password, user must create a new password. So then here I'm giving S3 full access, tags, review, create user. So here is the sign in link and I have given, and username is okay, let me select IAM user. The account alias is Avisway1. Click on next. And what is a username? The username is S3 user1, and here password. Let me copy that password. It is a password we got. I have given that. Then click on sign in. Now give the old password, give a new password. Then confirm password change. All right, the password got changed here. So I think I accidentally unchecked that button. So that's the reason no policies associated to this user and all. Okay, so now here we have logged into AWS Management Console and we are working as a S3 user. You might get a doubt how you are saying we are working as a S3 user. If you navigate to this top right corner, if you observe here, see, this is my root user. Whenever I click on directly, it is giving my account and my organization and all. But whenever you click on the same page, here it is showing IAM user. So we are working as an IAM user. S3 user 1 is an IAM user. Now, let's navigate and let's verify his access on all the services. So I'm trying to open EC2 as well as S3. And I'm trying to open IAM also. So for this user, see here, he is able to access S3 without any issues. Whatever the bucket we have, we are able to. Even if you want to test it, click on create bucket. Give some random name, give anything, but don't give any capital letters. And it is not going to cost us anything. So scroll down to the bottom, create bucket. So I'm working as a S3 user and I'm able to create a bucket successfully. Without any difficulty, I'm able to create a bucket successfully. Why? Because this user have valid permissions on S3 platform. This user, whenever he navigated to EC2, see here all errors. Can he navigate to this and can he generate something? Error. So apart from S3, he cannot perform anything in this account. See, when he navigated to IAM, is it showing anything? Even can he list users at least? No. Can he list roles? Can he list groups? No. He is not able to list anything. He is not able to list anything here apart from S3. So we are limiting this user to work only on S3. Why? Because we have given only policy S3 full access policy is associated. Now let's create quickly another user. Close this and you might get it out. While this user is creating a password, what is a password policy? Whenever you navigate to this account setting, here we have an option called password policy. When any of the IAM user is creating a password, their password must contain minimum of 8 characters. It should include a minimum of 3 of the following, like either uppercase, lowercase, number, and any of the special character. A minimum 3 of the following should contain and must not be identical to your account name or email address. Okay, so these things we must follow. If you want to customize, of course, we can customize this. We will talk that later. So navigate to users, add user, username. So EC2 user. What access type? Management console access. You want to go with the auto generate password? Yes. And I'm going to reset. I want to enforce this user to reset a password when he log in for the first time. Then click on next. So do you want to create a group? This time, yes, I will create a group. Click on create a group. And the group name is EC2 users group. So to that group itself, I'm going to give EC2 full access. I'm giving EC2 full access. Then create a group. So a group got created. To that group, permission or policy got allocated Amazon EC2 full access. And I'm adding this newly creating user to this group. So click on next. Review. Then create a user. Now another user got created. So this is a sign-in link we can use, EC2 user and the password. So I'm going to sign out from this S3 user. I will log in as an EC2 user. So log back in. So now do we really need to remember this or do we need to copy and paste this URL? I know what is my alias. My alias name is Avisway1. So most of the times it's going to be your organization name here. So I have given Avisway1 and username is EC2 user and the password. So let's grab the password from here. Given that password, sign in. So enforcing password reset. So it must be contain 8 characters, uppercase, lowercase, number, and special symbol. Any of the 3 combination among these. So given a password that comply with the password policy. Then confirm password change. The password got changed. And here we logged into our AWS account. Now the same services EC2, S3, IAM, same services I'm opening now. So here EC2. See earlier what we got, all API errors we got. But now did we got any error? No. So if you are not getting any API error here, so that means he have valid permission. But does this user have valid permissions on S3? See here, we don't have valid permissions in S3. Is it showing any buckets to this user? No. And is it showing any IAM users to this user? No. So no permissions on any other services apart from the policy we associated. For this EC2 user, he is a member of a group that group contains EC2 full access policy. So he will get EC2 access only. So for this user, S3 user, attached S3 full access directly. So he can access S3 access only. Right. So this is the introduction to our IAM. So now I'm open to all your questions. I know you might have many questions like, questions like can we manage multiple permissions for a user? What happened when we got conflicts? Like, conflict like at group level, one permission is allowed, another permission is denied at user level. What should happen? Those all we will discuss in our tomorrow session. Okay. And couple of things. For example, you have this IAM user. This user forgot his password. So if he forgot his password or this user left your organization, what you can do? You can select this user, navigate to security credentials. Here we have an option, summary. This is a console link. Console password, it is enabled. That means he can log in. Click on manage. Now, if you selected disable, what happened? This user access to this AWS environment is going to be disabled. He cannot log in. But user is not going to delete it. We are temporarily keeping it in disabled state. When he come back again, we can enable it. That is another option. And auto generate password. For example, he forgot the password. You want to generate an auto generate password and you want to share a new password to that user. Select auto generated. Enforce this user. Apply. Or you want to create a custom password, then you want to enforce this user. Or else, so I want my IAM user to create a password, then click on manage. I'm okay to keep them with the existing password, but whenever he is logging for the next time, they need to change the password. I'm not setting up a new password and all. I'm going to keep their existing password only, but I'm selecting this. That means, okay, whenever they're logging next time, they need to create a new password. And assigned MFA device. For an IAM user also, we can assign an MFA device. So the process is going to be same. Click on manage, virtual MFA, U2F key, other hardware device. Same process. That IAM user need to scan this and he need to enter 2 consecutively generated PIN number, then assign MFA. So while login, he need to enter that 6-digit PIN number, then only it allow him to log in. And you can navigate to groups and you can verify in how many groups he is member of. Those you can find it here. Right. So some advanced questions definitely I'll take in our next session. So yeah, I'm open to all your questions, guys.
Vinesh, I have a question on Enterprise Authentication Federation. Like, are we going to discuss tomorrow or somehow?
So you mean SSO kind of authentications?
Now, how do you integrate with my enterprise authentication? I have an existing Active Directory. I do not want to create all these local users. So, want to integrate or federate?
SSO. In SSO, we have an option called Identity Provider. There you can integrate with your Active Directory or any of the LDAP provider or SAML authentication within SSO. We are going to that. We will discuss later.
Thank you.
Okay, can we increase the policy level? I don't know what type of question that is, Amrit. Can you please be clear with that question? Yes, please.
So, excuse me. Hello.
Yes.
So, suppose first we create for S3, and now we have to increase. We have to also
Okay,
give
you
the
want to
access to.
add another service access also? Yes, we can.
Yes,
Here,
sir. Yes, sir.
add permissions option is there. For example, at moment we have given S3 full access. I want to add EC2 also. Click on add permission, add this user to group or copy permission from an existing user or attach directly. So now if you are giving EC2, so what this happen? So he's going to get access on S3 as well as EC2. So here at any time you can add permission or even you can remove permission also. So it all depends on what policy you're attaching and detaching, depends on that.
Avinash, one small question. So we are creating the user. I mean user manual. So it requires a series of steps, right? So if I want to create like 50 users or 60 users on a single day, is the same process I have to follow, or is there any other different process?
Okay, so if all the 50 users need to be created with the similar permissions, here we have an option, add another username, add another username. So you can add like, multiple usernames here. In a single shot, you can create, but one thing, all these users are going to create with the same level of permission. Why? Because in next step, you are going to allocate a policy. That policy will applicable for all these users.
Yeah, after creating the user, we can manage the permissions, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Is this user specific to the account? Like, is this identity you are creating? Is this, or can this be used on multiple accounts?
So by defaultly, he is limited to one AWS account only. But if you want to provide access to multiple AWS accounts, it is possible. So in that case, you need to use an option called switch user option. Here you can find like, switch roles.
In the row.
Yes, by using this, so you can switch the same IAM user can switch between multiple accounts also. That we will discuss whenever we discussed our roles. It's part of our course. We will discuss there.
Can you quickly repeat where to add alias? I missed that part. I'm not able to do that on my end.
Sorry,
How to add alias?
how to add alias?
You created. Yeah.
Okay, whenever you navigate to dashboard, IAM dashboard, here we have an option. By defaultly, for every single AWS account, we are going to get a 12-digit account ID. It looks like this. Your alias looks like this. So now instead of remembering this 12-digit account ID, you want to give like, a name. So click on customize, and here you need to give, okay, what is the alias name you want to give? But one thing, this alias should be unique. So it should not be taken by any other users and all. Then click on create alias. So now you can use this one, or else you can use that like a previous one also. Both works for us now.
Okay. Is this the ID, right? Is that the whole thing, or just an account number which is also there on the account tab? Like when you click on that drop down, there are two things, right? Do I have to copy the whole thing every time, or is it just the account number?
See, you just need to remember that alias or account number. You don't need to copy all the things. So that's what I'm doing, right. So when I'm logging, so I'm just giving like, either my account ID or alias. So here I can give account ID or alias, then username and password.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, I got a question from Sri. How are policies structured out of the box versus like a custom baseline guardrails versus full custom flexibility? Okay, we will discuss about policies in our tomorrow session. Sri, I will take your question in our next session. So even we can integrate guardrails also with AWS environment, like, cloud custodian also you can integrate to create your own policies, compliance standards actually. So that we will discuss later. So are we going to work with root user or IAM? That is not a question. We are always works with an IAM, and I want you guys also work with an IAM only. So hello, whoever registered and paid the fees, please send their mail IDs. So any WhatsApp group for this? There is no WhatsApp group. We have a Slack group. So I'm going to share that Slack group after a couple of days. Why? Because I didn't get confirmation from Naresh team. So that is another one.
Yeah. Can you?
Avinash, I got
Yes,
just a
please.
couple of questions, right? So alias, right, as you mentioned, that has to be unique within an account, or that has to be unique across the accounts.
Across the accounts.
Across the accounts, right? Okay. Another question is, you said that how can we enable the multi-factor authentication for an IAM user, right? So you are doing that from your root account, right? So that requires to scan.
Yeah, I got your question.
Yeah.
That's what going to be your task in our tomorrow session.
Okay. Yeah.
Once
Because
we're
I
done
was
with our
thinking that
tomorrow
was supposed
session,
to be done by the IAM user, right? How come root is doing that?
I got that.
Okay.
Tomorrow you need to do that. I mean, you guys need to do that tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's thank you.
Some guys are sending direct messages to me. I'm not the one. We have two Naresh ITs, so mainly Rupa, please post for everyone. Chandu, please post for everyone. I got your email IDs in direct messages. So set like while posting, select, two, select everyone. Right. Yeah.
One more thing, sir. I missed the first couple of classes, the introduction about deployments and whatnot. Can we get all the videos? I did not get any videos earlier.
Yes, Naresh team is going to share that. Just drop an email or like I hope you have their WhatsApp email ID, right? So they will share everything with you.
And the notes?
Notes, I'm sharing it now.
Okay, in the Slack channel or here?
No, I'm going to share a URL for today. I mean, I didn't get confirmation from Naresh team. So once I get confirmation, right, so I'm going to share the Slack channel. So for today, I'm going to give an S3 URL. One. All right, so here is a URL, guys. So you can access this object. I'm pasting that URL in our chat box. And whoever didn't get that, like, videos or like, just drop an email to Naresh team. So they will share you all the previous video recordings and all. So, so this URL, when you click on this URL, you will get this. So just give a right click and save it in your local machine. I'm going to give a centralized location for all this material and all that later on in our course. I'm going to, after a couple of days, I'm going to share that. Okay, till that time, this URL I'm going, within this URL, I'm going to share. So any other question before closing the session, guys?
Thank you, Avinash.
All right, so that's it for today's session. See you again tomorrow. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.